Yes, everybody, how's it going? I know lockdown affected Diwali, and we are shooting this a few days before this big lockdown is going to happen. So what we had to do is literally just freestyle something, get something together. Hopefully you guys like it. And I've got Manoj here, is the funniest guy in the Gujarat,
Kundanpur, funniest guy in Kundanpur, but there's like 10 of us there, so that's probably acceptable.
And then small gums, yeah, and then let's face it, yeah, it's lockdown. What's happened is people are starting to get a bit dry and whatnot, yeah. So if you want to get everyone cheered up, it's a harder task than normal. So for us, we've got kind of a hard task to try and entertain you whilst in lockdown, and we're not even out and about. We can't even do stuff. So I've got the green screen, so I can do a bit of this, a bit of that. This. You can do some funky stuff on the green screen, so hopefully we manage to entertain you for the next half an hour. If you do like any of this, if you do start feeling the joy, press the share button. Let's get this a bit out there as such. And you know what it is, London, there's not as much stuff happening on Diwali, so thanks for joining us for this 30 minutes. The whole thing that we're going to do today is mainly, we're going to cover the whole Rambagon aspect near to the end of the video. We wanted to make sure that, you know, we normally go to a temple on Diwali, and this year our homes are meant to be that temple now, so we could do some sort of acknowledge the reason for the event, acknowledge something about Diwali. If we do that at home, it may just keep that spirit alive for Diwali.
If your homes are the mandirs, they say you better throw out all that daru or whatever else you've got at home.
Hey, well, people, you see on view counts, it's going to go down now, man. So, whatever it is, you can do this. You can watch us whilst you're high. We don't mind. It's
No joking, no judgment.
And then what normally happens is you go around, you meet all the family, you hug, you get some money, you do this and that, you talk, and then you go back home in the evening. So we may be able to start a trend of saying, okay, do something God related at home. And today we will do a bit of a thing about saying the meaning of Diwali, what we could do about generating the good vibes of Diwali, and the whole story of Rambagon. That will definitely be something to watch out for. Hopefully we put some good effort into it, and you guys do learn something by the end of today. In the meantime, yes, we'll do a whole skit about, let's do mock the year. You know, when the year is finished, let's go back through the year, see what happened, see what was good, see what was, hopefully, some funny things as well.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state that nearly 14 billion years ago expansion started. Wait, the earth began to cool, the autotrophs began to drool, Neanderthals developed tools, we built a wall. We built the pyramids, math, science, history, unraveling the mystery that all started with the...
We're going to check out what happened throughout the year. It started last year in November. Good Diwali, it was rampacked, everyone nice and fat. We thought we were going to do some New Year's resolutions, see what we could do, lose some weight, have a good event, and everyone was saying, oh yeah, 2020 Majja goes, yeah, it's going to be solid, and we're going to do some big thing, Mota Sapna, yeah, I'm telling you, even I had some Mota Sapna. I wanted to do events here, I wanted to have like Hajar Manso, yeah, checking out what's going on the stage. And
even me, we were like, 2020 is my year, just like the Australian forest caught fire. And then we're all feeling sorry for them. We're thinking, oh my God, look at the poor animals, look at the forest, look at the impact of global warming. And then the next thing we know, some Chinese man ate a bat and started coughing. Udras thiavi, ne pache ghare na betho, badi jagya jai jane khe karero, ne pache aki dunia ma felavi didu. Pache bija ta dunia ma ta everyone got locked down, but North Korea ma ta udari didu banduk tik. Udras khati te.
There's going to be too many things this year that we wanted to forget about. So let's talk about them for the last time before we decide to forget about that crap, and then hopefully look for a good future, whatever it is. As soon as December came, Australia, heavy fires. And then we're thinking, oh, that's the worst of it. And then all of a sudden March comes. I come back from India in February. I went for my wedding shopping. See what I'm saying? I bought 700 dhotis. Yeah, I've got 700 dhotis going around because I had some sapna in it. All these sapnas that burnt. The sapna burnt, and then lockdown came, and we started to realize, yeah, it's like I started to stay at home for a bit, thinking, what's going on in the house? These people in the house, they're okay people. Huh?
Open the door!
Look at this. On special discount from Cash and Carry. Good, huh?
This is too many.
It's not too many. We're always running out because you lot use too much.
What are you talking about?
You only ever need a little bit. Look, this too much. This too much. This just right. Nobody ever needs to use more than that.
Why do you have to make such a fuss about toilet tissue?
Because it costs money. And I'm paying this bloody wedding, don't forget.
It is my big day, Dad.
More like big 4 days. Why do our weddings have to take so long? Maybe we should have an English wedding.
I think a lot of you guys, your family, they're okay people. They're not even that messed up, and then for some of you, I feel it, yeah? Especially if you got one of them wives. Oh boy, you know them wives that just do tete all the time, yeah? Thinking, yeah, oh, they just don't even let you sit down, and some people, they do have it hard. You got to worry about these people, and then divorce rates.
As people found out stuff about their family, a lot of people got divorced, tutachera. And now all these divorce rates are going up, which is really good for me because I'm single. And now there's going to be loads of extra singles when all of this is over.
And as soon as June came, we started getting hints of lockdown finishing. Oh damn, we might have to start going back to work. We might have to go into the office. There's more anxiety. They're thinking, hey, whoa, I don't want to be around people anymore. I've got used to chilling. I've got used to just being in my zone.
The majority of the country started working from home this year, and sucks to be the people who have to actually go to work, because when I was working from home, I'd dress up from the top and then chaddo perine down from the bottom. But then after 6 weeks, I got furloughed, so it was jalsa and moj for me, maja masti. I went traveling around the UK. I saw so many beautiful places in the UK, but I didn't go to the Durdle Door because બધા કણ બી તો Durdle Door જઈને ફોટા મૂક્યા ફેસબુકમાં એટલે મેં તો જોઈ લીધું બધાના ફોટા, so I didn't even bother going there. I went to loads of other places in the end anyway. I think people saw so many funny things happening. Like, I think some people got caught on the toilet whilst they were on Zoom calls at work because they thought they'd turn their video off. I remember this one time I thought I had the video off when I was pulling stuff out that had got stuck in between my teeth. But then everyone saw it at work, and then no one mentioned anything, but I did see some people were like looking like this, and then I had to turn my video off. The gym closed down and everyone got fat, everyone got lazy. The only exercise they got was when they went out to clap for the NHS. 1 minute હારું તાળી પાડીને હફી પડતા માણવેલા એવડા અનફિટ થઈ ગયા, જીમ બંધ થઈ ગઈ એટલે ને પછી આમ જોયા રાખે હું કઈ બંધ કરું કેટલી વાર કરવું પડશે. હું તો ક્લેપ ન કરતો, હું તો ચમચીને થારી લઈ જાતો અને ટીંગ 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 કરતો જાણે શું આરતી કરી NHS ની એમ. But the NHS obviously didn't get a pay rise because obviously the claps are going to feed the tummy, but the MPs got a pay rise. શું કે હવે પોતે pay rise લેશે, કાંઈ કામ નથી કરતું, countryનો દાટ વારી નાખ્યો હોય ને પોતા હારું pay rise, બકવાસ.
What happened as soon as lockdown was over in July? We thought it was pretty much over. Wedding started up. I got married. Lockdown wedding. I got married in a garden. Yeah, this is. I've got 700 dhotis for all the people that were going to come to the wedding. Even the ladies if they wanted to wear one. Got 700 dhotis, and I had a wedding, and there was 12 people at my wedding. I'm thinking, wait, I know these people. Have you ever been to a wedding where you know the people? That doesn't even happen amongst Indians. We go to weddings and we literally just don't know anyone. And you know, on the topic of Indian weddings, they used to be big, they used to be live. We used to go to an Indian wedding. We used to have to put our ear right next to the person we're talking to, figure out what's going on. Have you seen a football event recently? Even IPL. You see there's no one in the audience, but yet there's some sort of audience sound going on. It's like, yeah, whatever it is. I don't really know how to make the sound. That's 1,000 people. Imagine if we did the same thing for an Indian wedding. So we've got the live wedding going on and we put background noise on. You'll hear the aunties going, hey, and hey, Charles, whatever the noise is, we need to get that soundtrack made.
Oh, I totally agree. We definitely need to get that track made. But I think we need to add the voices of the old ladies massacring every single Gujarati song. So they're doing Pelu Pelu Mangalayu Varadayu Pelu Pelu. I didn't even know that song was beautiful until I heard it on a tape. But then when all these old ladies are gone to Akshardham, or some of them are going to hell, we already know that, but when they're all dead, no one's going to be singing here because all of these young generation people are going to be singing Mujhe Sajan ke ghar jana hai, and that's not what I want for my wedding. If I get married, don't start asking me when am I getting married now.
We may not even have to go to these weddings and spend a whole day. Do you know how long Indian weddings are? The photographer gets there at 6 in the morning, takes pictures of the chair, and whatever they do the whole day, and then the couple goes off for photos. We're sitting there, we're doing date day with someone else.
And then Rishi Sunak introduced Eat Out to help out to spread coronavirus, to help save local businesses. And then everyone flooded to Ealing Road. Not that Ealing Road was ever on lockdown really anyway, because I think the concept of lockdown and social distancing didn't exist there. Nah, we're not doing it. But these essential shops, VB and Sons, and then Eat Out to help out too. And then everyone flocked to Ealing Road to go and have their half-price food. You have to book tables to go on to Samaru Bhajia House or Sakoni's. E kidi vari thayaru table book કરીને ખાવા જાવ. અમે તો પોતી જાય ત્યાં જ ને કઈ ટેબલ દો અમને તો બેવા દે અમને ને હવે ટેબલ બુક કરવી પડે બાપા વાળી વેલો શું કઈ હવે. And then બધાના પાઇપ જામી પડે ખા ખા કરીને. પનીર ખાય શું પનીર ના ખાઉં વીગનો પણ ટોફુ ખાઉં મસાલા ઢોસા ખાઉં ભજીયા ખાઉં તીખું ખાઈ ખાઈને બધાના પાઇપ જામી પડ્યા. હું તમને વિડીયો ફૂટેજ બતાવું.
अरे ऐसा झटका खाई के पान बनारस वाला
સંતા આ વર્ષે કાંઈ તે દિવાળીનું વિચાર્યું છે મીઠાઈ કરવાનું કે કશું?
ના કાંતા આ વખતે તો મને કાંઈ વિચાર નથી મીઠાઈ બનાવવાનો.
આ વખતે મને બી વિચાર નથી કારણ કે મને બી ડાયાબિટીસ થઈ ગયું છે અને મારા છોકરા બી કોઈ મીઠાઈ ખાતા નથી આજકાલ. તો હું તો સ્વીટ લાભમાંથી સ્વીટ ઓર્ડર કરવાની છું.
ના રે ના કાંતા એમની અંદર તો જેલેટીન આવે એગ આવે એ તો અમે નથી ખાતા.
ઓ સંતા એમાં કાંઈ નથી આવતું. એમાં તો જેલેટીન ને એગ ને કાંઈ નથી. એ તો વીગન છે વીગન. આ તો આપણે બધા ખાઈ શકીએ. તો તને બી ઓર્ડર કરવાની ત્યાંથી.
This year, as we were leading up to Diwali, everyone started making their plans. Santa and Kanta had already decided they weren't going to make mithai, but they were making other plans on stuff that they were going to do. I was going to do stuff for Stanmore Mandir. We were going to decorate and develop a new concept for them. Badu datwari nakyu Boris na padi. Boris ખબર નહીં ઘરે બે બેને કેવા ફેસલા લઈ લીધા. ઈદ કેન્સલ, દિવાળી કેન્સલ, ભાઈ બીજ કેન્સલ, ગેય પ્રાઇડ કેન્સલ, બ્લેક લાઇવ્સ મેટર ઈ પણ કેન્સલ, છોકરા બનાવવાનું ઈ પણ કેન્સલ કેમ કે માસ્ક પહેરવાનું. ક્રિસમસ ઈ નથી કેન્સલ કેમ કે સાંતાને તો કામ ખપશે નકો એને ફરલો કોણ આપશે. ઓકે હવે ટાઈમ થઈ ગયો હે આપની શુભકામના સફળ થાય એના માટે હવે બોરિસના આશીર્વાદ લેવા જવાના છે. તમે ન સમજો ઇંગ્લિશમાં બોલે છે એટલે હું તમારું ઇન્ટરપ્રિટ કરીશ. આ વર્ષે મને તો બહુ જ ચિંતા હે હો ક્રિસમસની. આ કોરોના બધી જગ્યા ફેલી ગયું હે એટલે ન ઈદથી ન દિવાળીથી પણ હું ક્રિસમસ તો ચોક્કસ કરીશ હો. મેં આ વિડીયો એટલે બનાવ્યો છે કે તમે બધા હિન્દુઓને શુભ દિવાળી કહો ને નૂતન વર્ષના અભિનંદન દેવું. એ જોતા આ વર્ષે તો મને બહુ જ ચિંતા થઈ પડી હો. હમણાં સોશિયલ ડિસ્ટન્સિંગ અને કે એકબીજાના ઘરે જવાની રજા નથી દીધી મેં ને લક્ષ્મી આવશે તો એના તો ના હે ઘરમાં આવવાની આ વર્ષે. મારા તો દર વર્ષે મને સોનાના વાળ દઈ જારી આવા ને આ વર્ષે નહીં જ્યારે મને સોનાના વાળ વહેલા. અને મને બીજી ચિંતા એ હે કે ક્રિસમસ કેન્સલ થઈ જશે આ વર્ષે તો પણ તમે એવી રીતે ઉજવજો આ વર્ષે કે આ વર્ષે તો કોઈ ઝઘડા ઝઘડી નહીં થાય તમારા દિવાળીના. મને તો ઇન્ડિયન કલ્ચર બહુ જ ગમે છે હો. આ સિઝન 1ના લોકડાઉનમાં બધા ધોળે બનાના બ્રેડ બનાવતા હતા. મેં તો બનાના બ્રેડ એક કોર ઘા કરી દીધું ને હું તો સમોસા ને ગુલાબ જાંબુ બનાવતો હતો હો. હું તમને બધાને કેવરો રાઈટ થિંગ કરો પણ હું પોતે નહીં કરું ક્રિસમસના, ખાલી તમને જ કહીશ. તમારા ઘરે લક્ષ્મી આવે આ વર્ષે એવી હું બધાઈ દઉં રો તમને. મારા ઘરે તો લક્ષ્મી કીધું તું ની પોતી આવે એટલે તમારા વાળ સોના રહે જોતા. મને આ કેવું પડેલું કે તમે કેટલું બધું સેવા કરી છે કોરોનામાં. બધા કુકિંગ કર્યું, રસોઈ કરીને મિલ પહોંચાવી NHSમાં ગરીબ માણસોને. પણ મને કોરોના થયું તો કોઈ મને દેવા ના આવ્યું સમોસા ને ગુલાબ જાંબુ વેલો. પણ બાઈ મન પેટે હતી પ્રેગ્નેન્ટ એટલે મેં એને કીધું તું બનાવને મારા હારું લે આવ. ઓકે હવે હું બધાને યાદ કરાવરો કે હાથ ધોવો હાથ ધોવો હાથ ધોવો. અમારા ધોળિયા તો કોઈ દિવસ હાથ નથી ધોતા એને યાદ નહીં કરાવું પણ તમને ઇન્ડિયનને હા યાદ કરાવીશ કે હાથ ધોવો. ઓકે હવે હું બધાને સમજાવરો કે દિવાળીનો મતલબ શું હે પણ મેં તો કોઈ દિવસ રામાયણ નથી વાંચી. હું તો એમ કહું કે તમે કોરોનાને હારાવશો પણ કોરોના તો રાવણે ઈ મને પ્રીતિને ઋષિ કહી દીધું કે જે તું કોરોના રાવણે તો બધા રાજી થઈ જશે એટલે હું કેવરો આ. અને ફાઇનલી હું બધાને કહેવરો કે તમે હેલ્થી રહેજો કેમ કે NHSમાં જગ્યા નથી તમારા કોઈ હારું એટલે હું કહેવરો કે તમે હેલ્થી રહેજો ને પ્રોસ્પરસ ન્યૂ યર કરજો ને બધું દિવાળી ખૂબ ખૂબ ઉજાવજો ફટાકડા વગર દખો નહીં કરજો મને ઊંઘ આવે રહી પછી. ઓકે હવે હું જાઉં મને મારા વાળ કાપવા જવાના હે. ઓકે તો બાય.
Last Diwali, you came to my house, and the very next day, you came again. For Bye Beach, we ate more food, and now I'll see you again next year. You better watch out, Santa's around, the whole family are going online to do some Mubarak on Zoom.
Hope you enjoy the Ashirwachan or the wise words from the Prime Minister. What it does come down to, Diwali, huge thing. Especially if you think about who's behind Diwali, is Ram Bhagwan. There must be something we could learn from Ram Bhagwan to take the year going forward, massively inspirational. Whenever we have challenging times, we know that we can rely on stories like this. So yeah, let's go into Ram Bhagwan. Manoj, go for it. How was he as a son?
He was the ideal son. He gave so much joy to Kaushalya, Keikei and Sumitra and Dasharath. And he never differentiated between any of his mothers. He treated all three of them with equal love and respect.
Now to keep a family happy, that is a league of its own. Even from a young age, keeping every single member of the family that happy.
How many of us are keeping our family members happy? There's always jagri over tiniest of things.
Literally imagine tiny things not affecting you, and especially when you're so close to people, this is where the friction comes in. Ram Bhagwan, the more we look into it at detail, we find out that he still managed to keep every single person happy, even when their opinions were colliding with each other. So what do we go to next? Ram Bhagwan as an ideal student.
He was a student of Vashishta and also later Vishwamitra, and he always stayed within all of their guidelines. Like they told him exactly how to do, but they also told him, don't just listen to what we're saying. You need to use your own common sense and you need to use your own ability to discern between right and wrong. And he used it, and he was told to use all of his teachings and knowledge to help better mankind and uplift them.
Us as students, we know that we struggle to get information into us. There is a big thing that's missing in our culture to say the person teaching us is as valuable as your guru, is as valuable as God to you. Why? They're giving you something. So what did Ram Bhagwan do? He mastered everything. It wasn't just a case of memorizing everything, he mastered it. That also comes through the situation and the people that he was working to please.
I was such a bad student because I already have a habit of doing japar all the time. My teachers always told me that I talk too much in class, but they still liked me and I got student of the year and stuff, but I was by far not the ideal student.
It's definitely hard. Imagine studying to make the teacher happy. If you study to make the teacher happy, you may go above and beyond the expectation. Ram Bhagwan, he studied in isolation, literally no contact with outside world for various number of years, and he made sure he mastered everything that was taught to him. What do we go to next? Ram Bhagwan followed his dad's orders and went to the forest. What did he do whilst he's in the forest? Did he whine about losing a kingdom? Did he complain about anything? What did he do?
He was the ideal brother at the start during the forest. He was happy to stand aside and let Bharata take the kingdom. Rama was like, I'm fine, like Bharata is equal to me, I'm happy for him to do these things. So often in today's generation, brothers and sisters are fighting over milkat, like ane vadare malyu, ane atlu malyu. Rama was happy to let go of anything. He said, I haven't earned any of this, I didn't earn any of this, it's my father's money. So however he decides to do it, I am happy for it, and Bharat is a loved one.
All this stuff that was entitled to be his, but he never had it as, okay, it's mine, I should take it from someone else. We see this in the humanitarian work he started doing on his 14 years away from the kingdom. If you had a kingdom, you would say, okay, I've got money now, let me do stuff for other people. but he never had money, he never had any of this, and yet he's doing stuff for everyone, wherever he goes.
He had nothing to gain when he was in the 14 years in the forest, and what he did instead was he helped protect all the rishis and all the virtuous and all the people. But he also went over to see loads of people who were of high caliber. So like Shabri, he ate her half-eaten boars because she loved him, and out of respect for all the living beings, he did whatever it took him to do to make all of these people happy and feel loved and respected.
Oh, and remember this, people. God comes to you, yeah, out of your affection for him, essentially. No matter what we saw every single day in Ram Bhagan's story, he helped out even the smallest of motives of just good, innocent hearts. He was going to them. No matter how much pain he went through, he was never allowed to stay in a good house. He was never allowed luxuries in any way, shape or form, but the motive to help. And that does link to a lot of the people we look up to right now. We look up to the people that help with whatever they've got.
And then he established how he was an ideal friend. Friendship shouldn't be based on transactions like merchants, where if you do this, I do that for you. Rama said that friendships transgress all of these things, and it should just be love between friends. And that's exactly what this relationship between Sugriva and Rama showed, that it wasn't because we have this mutual goal that we're going to do together, it's because we have love and respect for each other. And this was what was shown through Vibhishana as well, when he took shelter of Rama. And Rama didn't want to take over his kingdom, he just wanted to re-establish the righteousness into Lanka, and he returned everything to the people of Lanka and didn't usurp their kingdom.
That is a hard thing, no matter how we think about it. How are we making friends right now? We're doing it on Instagram and this and that. We're doing it on a heavily little motive. Whatever that motive is, it's if the person on the receiving end doesn't feel it, or if they don't reply to you in a certain amount of time, we start panicking. Ram Bhagan had to wait a long period of time for answers to come back to him about Sita. As soon as it gets past the night or in the daytime, he's worrying, but he never doubted his friends. He done his friends a favor. His friends, he'll give their life up for each other. That's the level to which we're saying God, he has everything. He's richer than everyone. He is the king, essentially, and he's still stooping down to be whatever he has to be for the people around him. Then let's go straight into Ram Bhagan was the ideal warrior. Oh wow, imagine how much training he must have had to do to become that good.
He killed Kumbhakarna, who was a giant, and destroyed Ravana and all of his allies, who were demons from all over the land, and he did that through his strength, through his training, and also he stayed within Maryada every time he fought. He never once transgressed the boundaries and limits of war.
That is, in war, in battle, what we say in competitive business right now, everyone is out to cheat each other, but Ram Bhagan, even though he's facing cheating type of people, he's facing the worst, the craftiest people, he stuck to his principles, and the amount of training that he done, this is where it goes to show, if you want to achieve something big in life, if you want to get to, let's say, overcome the biggest challenges, you also got to do the amount of pre-work that needs to go into it. Don't just show up and act big. Don't just show up and talk strong, essentially. And that's what made him the ideal king. He came back and he became king.
Yeah. The final 2 points go a little bit hand in hand, and they're the most controversial, so we've saved them to the end. He was an ideal husband and he was an ideal king. So a lot of people, he showed he was an ideal husband when on his wedding night he promised Sita that other than you, I will never look at another woman. You are my everything, and this is the gift I give you on our wedding day. And throughout his entire life, he didn't look at another woman, and he respected Sita. He had so much love for her that he went all the way to Lanka to win her back, and then he brought her back and installed her as the queen of Ayodhya. And this is where it gets a little bit murkier, where people start casting aspersions on Ram Bhagan's character. So there's so many people in the world who abide by democracy, saying that people should get to make the decision and people shouldn't be an evil dictator. And yet people are like, Ram Bhagan sent Sita to the forest on the say-so of one person. It wasn't one person. As the people started to gossip, the majority of Ayodhya felt that Sita shouldn't be their queen. and to listen to all of what these people were saying and to respect their values and to prevent a civil war from breaking out and to protect people. He sacrificed one woman, but he knew exactly where she was. He arranged for her safety. He arranged for her to be in Rishi Valmiki's ashram. So she was safe, she was pregnant, and she had all of these things. But to prevent a war from breaking out, he did this, and people were still saying he wasn't an ideal king or an ideal man because he let one woman go. What so many people don't know is Rama may have stayed in the kingdom in Ayodhya when he exiled Sita into the forest, but Rama ate basic food and he slept on the floor despite being a king, just because that's where his equal or his beloved was sleeping on the floor and eating basic foods in the forest. But Bollywood doesn't tell us all of these things because they just want to make Rama look like a evil character. On top of this, when he decided to do the Ashwamedha Yagya, everyone in Ayodhya was saying, oh, he needs to get remarried to do that. But Rama knew Sita was innocent, and what sent out a message to all of these people? He knew Sita was pure, and to make sure that everyone knew she was pure, he installed a golden murti of Sita next to him. So even though he couldn't have the real Sita to prevent a civil war from breaking out in Ayodhya, he told everyone that he knew Sita was pure and Sita was worthy of this position by installing a murti of her there.
This is always going to come down to, if we just take it in reverse, we're going to show you a video just to highlight Lord Ram and his life up to Diwali. But just after Diwali, we need to make sure we still understand he was the ideal individual. He was the ideal father. Now, how does this work? He had his kids raised by the best person on the planet at the time, that was Rishi Valmiki. How did he do that? He knew that he hadn't been in the kingdom for 14 years. If he was to raise his twins in that kingdom, what would have happened? Everyone was spiting Sitaji. So therefore, the kids would have suffered loads of suffering. We don't know the full story. It would have been heavy extents of literally disloyalty towards the lineage, and therefore he got his kids raised by the best person on the planet at the time, Rishi Valmiki. As soon as he had to take them back, he had to take the kids back in such a way that they don't suffer in the future of the village's doubts. So what did he do? He allowed Sitaji in. Sitaji, just before she took her oath to go back into the ground, she said, I have to do this for my kids. Essentially, it will be a case that if she doesn't do it, if she doesn't take a test, opinions would rise, and then this kingdom will not follow through. And Ram Bhagwan's lineage, it followed through all the way, we say until the time of Krishna Bhagwan. That is a long amount of time. We're talking
1.8 million years.
1.8 million years. If one kingdom, if one leadership lasted that long, how great was it? In that sense, we find perfection in every single aspect of Ram Bhagwan. The more we look into it, the more we feel pride about this Diwali festival of who we are and whose we are and the religion that we're part of.
There are many people who say that the Sita going into the ground at the end was a tragedy and really bad. But what people don't realise was that Sita taking that act was then what led to a lot of rights for women in the future, how people shouldn't be casting aspersions on the characters of women. And Rama and Sita together established that a woman isn't in the wrong if another man takes her. There are many people nowadays who will hold the victim responsible and not the perpetrator of attacks against women. But Ram and Sita between themselves established that actually the perpetrator is the one in the wrong and not the woman. And by doing such a drastic act like this, it kind of made it memorable to people that they will remember forever and ever to not cast aspersions on the character of women just because of evildoers.
And we've got plenty of inspiration to be sourced from one story. This is the Ramayana. No matter how much we look at it, we should be able to inspire ourselves. And right now, the world does need this type of positivity. The world, fair enough, mental health issues are on the rise, but situational issues are also on the rise. People arguing or students not getting the support that they need. Whatever situational issues are, they're gathering up, and it does take an effect on people. Therefore, we do need to look to what's inspirational in our lives.
One thing I've just remembered as well, because Darshan talked about mental health, Rama was also the ideal teacher, believe it or not. So there's this episode within the Aranyakand where Lakshmana gets onto his knees and asks Rama to teach him about Maya, about the mind and mental health and everything. And Rama teaches him everything he knows about how all of these things interact and how we can overcome mental health. So I think you should definitely read the Ramayana, and if you can't read it, then watch the Ramadan Sakar version of the series. It's really good.
Oh, there's resources out there, and this is what we tried to do today. We tried to put something together, give you a good time on Diwali. We know it's lockdown. There's not as many options for us to engage in. Fair enough. What we normally do is not what we normally do this year. So we gave you this half an hour. Hopefully you guys learned something, you enjoyed your time, and we will be showing a little video just to give you a highlight reel of Lord Ram.
If you have any more questions about Ramayana or Lord Rama's life, feel free to contact me on Instagram, on Facebook or anything, and I'll be happy to answer any more questions.
This video will be going live for you guys to share out after. Hopefully you guys did enjoy tonight, and thank you for being with us.
I have waited 14 years for this day. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of Ram, the story of a great lineage, an ideal son, an ideal student of a great teacher, an ideal brother, an ideal husband, and an ideal king. Many years ago, 4 brothers were born in the kingdom of Ayodhya. They were called Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, and Shatrughna. After completing the study under the guidance of Guru Vashisht, the 4 princes returned to the kingdom to the happiness and citizens of all. Ram, the eldest, who was also an incarnation of the Lord himself, quickly became the favorite of the citizens due to his humility and kindness. His fame started to spread beyond Ayodhya, and one day Rishi Vishwamitra requested to King Dashrath to send Ram and Lakshman with him to protect his yagna. Being a Suryavanshi king, Dashrath obliged and sent Ram and Lakshman with Vishwamitra. Ram killed the demoness Tarka and protected Vishwamitra's yagna from Marich and Subahu. Together with Vishwamitra, Ram and Lakshman continued their journey. Ram liberated Ahilya and bathed in the Ganga. They arrived in Mithila, where King Janak was hosting a Swayamvar for the beautiful Sita. All the kings present failed to even move the bow of Shiva. However, Ram simply lifted it up and snapped it in two, winning the hand of the Devi Sita. Sita was welcomed to Ayodhya with her sister and 2 cousins who had married the other brothers of Sri Ram. Ram's popularity continued to grow, and one day, Dashrath decided to make Ram the king of Ayodhya. Everyone in Ayodhya rejoiced and a grand celebration was organized. However, amongst the people of Ayodhya, one woman burnt with envy. Manthara, the maid of Kerai, was furious. Dashrath was devastated. When Ram saw the pain his father was in, he accepted Keikai's wishes and departed for the forest along with Lakshman and Sita, both who decided to accompany him. After a few days, King Dashrath's health deteriorated, and eventually he left his material body with the name of Ram on his lips. With Ram, Lakshman and Sita gone, and now the death of King Dashrath, Ayodhya was plunged into darkness. Bharat returned from his maternal grandfather's house to find out what had happened. He cremated his father and disowned Kekai for her evil plans, and immediately left for the forest to bring Sri Ram back. The majority of Ayodhya followed Bharat to bring Ram back. Ram was grief-stricken when he heard about the death of his father. Bharat insisted that Ram came back to Ayodhya to reclaim his rightful throne. Even Kekai begged Ram and released him from her wishes. However, Ram stated that to respect the words of the deceased father, he would remain in the forest for 14 years before he accepts the throne of Ayodhya. Ram requested Bharat to act as regent of his kingdom. Bharat took Ram's wooden sandals and placed them on the throne of Ayodhya and ruled as the representative of Sri Ram. Ram moved deeper and deeper into the forest and spent 13 years there. He met many saints and rishis, including Sharbang, Atri, Ansuya, and Valmiki. He destroyed many demons, including Virag. On the 13th year, Ravan's sister Surpanka came. She was filled with lust the moment she saw Ram and tried to make him hers. But Ram declined her proposal and said he was married to Devi Sita. She was furious and tried to eat Sita, but Lakshman cut off her nose and ears. Surpanka went running to Ravan and instigated him to kidnap Devi Sita. Ravan sent Marich, disguised as a golden deer, to attract Sita. He then lured Ram and Lakshman away from the hut, leaving Sita alone. Disguised as a Brahmin, Ravan kidnapped Sita and killed Jadayu, who tried to protect her. Ram was distraught when he discovered Sita was missing. Jadayu told Ram who had kidnapped Sita, and Ram followed the trail where he met Shabri. Shabri told him to meet Sugriv, who would be able to help him. Ram established a friendship with the apes and bears who helped to search for Sita. When Sampati told the monkeys where Sita was, Hanuman jumped across the ocean and found Sita in Lanka. After assuring Sita that Ram was coming for her, he killed Akshay Kumar, Ravan's son, and burnt down his golden city. Hanuman returned to Kishkinda, where he told Ram where Sita was. The entire army of Monkey reached the edge of the ocean. With the help of Nal and Nim, a bridge was built across the ocean. Despite this miracle, Ravan still felt he would defeat Ram. The Battle of Lanka claimed the lives of all the evil people that protected Ravan. Prahast, Atikai, Narantak, Devantak, Trishira, and even his most powerful son Indrajit was killed. Ravan's brother Kumbhakaran was also killed at the hands of Sri Ram. The only survivor from Ravan's family was Vibhishanji, who had already surrendered to Sri Ram before the battle started. Finally, Ravan was killed and Sita was rescued. Ram, Lakshman and Sita, along with their friends, were on their way back to Ayodhya. And now the time has come to welcome back not just the king of Ayodhya, but the king of the universe.